What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm picking college football week 13 top 25 picks, so let's hop into it. And if you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me. And last week my record was 20-2 picking college football games, which brings my overall record to 195-46. So I don't think that's too bad. But this is the last full week of college football games. Next week we got like the conference championships, and then there's a little break before all the bowl games and the college football playoffs. So this is the last full slate of games. But anyway, getting things started, we actually have a game on Thanksgiving. So it's not just NFL football on Thanksgiving. We do have a college football game, and we have Ole Miss on the road at Mississippi State, an SEC battle between these two teams. But right here, I do have Ole Miss beating Mississippi State on the road, and I do think it's going to be a close one-score football game right here. So I have Ole Miss winning it by a score of 27-21. Then we actually have a handful of games being played on Black Friday, and it gets started in the Big Ten. We have number 20th ranked Iowa on the road at Nebraska, and I expect this to be a super low scoring Big Ten game right here. Iowa already has their spot in the Big Ten championship locked up, and they are awaiting the winner of the Ohio State Michigan game. And I actually have this being one of my upset picks this week, as I have Nebraska winning at home against Iowa. And I know Nebraska is actually favored to win this game right here, but because they're not ranked, that's what I'm kind of considering the upset right here is the unranked team is beating the ranked team. But I have Nebraska pulling out a close one, another one-score game and a low-scoring game by a score of 16-13. And then moving on, we have a Big 12 matchup. We have TCU on the road at Oklahoma. Once again, Oklahoma is just outside the top 10. They'll probably get a pretty good bowl game, but their college football playoff chances are slim to none. TCU, on the other hand, they were ranked to start the season. They fell out early, and they've just had a pretty disappointing year altogether. And Oklahoma should get a relatively easy win right here at home, and I have them winning it by a score of 35-17. And then we have a newcomer to the top 25. We have Toledo coming in at 23. They are 10-1 on the year, and they're at Central Michigan right here. And besides Toledo's record, I really don't know much about these two teams, so I'm going to give this win right here to Toledo on the road by a score of 35-24. Then we have UTSA right here on the road at Tulane. Tulane's been ranked for most of the year in the high teens, low 20s, and I think they win this game right here at home once again by a score of 24-20. I think it's going to be another one of those low scoring close games. Then we have number 10 Missouri on the road at Arkansas, an SEC matchup, and once again another game where there's no college football playoff hopes on the line, but ending the regular season with a win isn't too shabby, and I do have Missouri winning this one right here against Arkansas by a score of 28-14. Then we have a Big Ten matchup. We have number 11 Penn State on the road at Michigan State. Penn State, once again, can't get over the hump. They can't beat Ohio State or Michigan. Michigan State, on the other hand, they had some off the field issues. They've had coaching changes, just a whole mess of a year for them. So I imagine they're just looking for this season to end. And I have Penn State winning this game right here rather easily by a score of 36-21. Then we have a Big 12 Texas matchup. We have Texas Tech on the road at Texas. And Texas Tech, they're like 6-5. They haven't played too good this year. They have put together some really solid games this year. They have upset a couple of teams. In Texas, they're ranked at 7. And a win here, coupled with a few upsets in the top 4, Texas could sneak into the college football playoffs, but a lot would have to happen for them to get in. But it all starts with needing a win right here at home, and I do think they'll get this one. I do think Texas Tech will make it a little close for comfort for a while, but Texas will pull away in the end, and I have them winning this game by a score of 41-27. And then we have a Pac-12 matchup in a Battle of Oregon. We have Oregon State number 15 on the road at Oregon, who's ranked number 6. And once again, Oregon just outside that top 4. A win here, coupled by a few upsets, could definitely move them into the college football playoff. Oregon State, they did lose to Washington last week, so a win right here by Oregon State would crush Oregon's college football playoff chances, and I don't see that happening. I have Oregon winning this game right here. Once again, another relatively close one for majority of it, but I have Oregon winning it by a score of 42-34. Then kicking off our Saturday slate of games, we have the Battle of Kentucky. We have Kentucky on the road at Louisville. And this should be a pretty good matchup right here. I do have Louisville winning it. Kentucky just really hasn't had a great year. So I do have Louisville winning it by a score of 30-20. And then we have a huge matchup right here. We have number 2 Ohio State on the road at number 3 Michigan, a Big Ten battle. The winner of it goes to the Big Ten championship. The winner of it gets their college football playoff spot locked in. So there's a bunch of implications on the line right here in this game. And last week, Ohio State was able to leap over Michigan in the standings. So that is huge right here. But Michigan is still favored to win this game. And I have Ohio State on the road going into Ann Arbor and getting this win right here. So I know by the ranking standpoint, it's not really an upset, but because Michigan's favored, I also kind of have this as an upset pick this week. But Michigan, they will be without Coach Jim Harbaugh because of this cheating scandal. And I know there's a lot of turmoil in Michigan. A lot of people are turning on them, which they should. Michigan definitely cheated. But I have Ohio State going in there, winning a close one right here by a score of 23-21. Then we have a couple of SEC matchups. The first one, we have Texas A&M on the road at LSU, the 14th ranked team. In Texas A&M, up and down season, they just fired their head coach. LSU, on the other hand, had a few losses early in the year, but they're definitely finishing the season strong right here. And I think they win this one against Texas A&M by a score of 31-17. Then we have the Iron Bowl. We have number 8 Alabama on the road at Auburn. And if Alabama wins this game right here and a couple of teams get upset, they could definitely squeak into the college football playoffs. I think the chances of that are very, very low, and it's probably not going to happen. But there's still a slight chance for them. But once again, it all starts with beating Auburn, which I think they will definitely do. Auburn lost to, what was it, New Mexico State or something last week. So they're definitely at a low right now. And Alabama, I feel, will take full advantage of that. And they win this game rather easily by a score of 38-24. And then we have a Pac 12 matchup. This time it is the Battle of Arizona. We have Arizona, the 16th ranked team in the nation, at Arizona State. Arizona State only has, I think, like 3 wins. So a very disappointing season for them. Arizona, on the other hand, they started out slow, but they definitely have picked it up in the second half of this season, and they are playing really good football right now. So I think they just carry that momentum right here to a win on the road by a score of 34-14. Then we have BYU on the road at Oklahoma State. Not really much on the line in this game right here, besides maybe some bowl implications, but I have Oklahoma State winning this one right here rather easily by a score of 40-26. Then we have James Madison, the 24th ranked team in the nation, at Coastal Carolina. James Madison just suffered their first loss of the season last week in an overtime loss to Appalachian State. So their perfect season is ruined, and their bowl waiver got denied, so they're not even going to be able to play in a bowl game right here. So they just got to finish this season strong, which I think they will, with a win right here on the road. And I have them winning it by a score of 31-23. Then we have number 22 Liberty on the road at Texas El Paso. And Liberty, their undefeated season is still going strong right now. And I think they'll win this game right here and finish the season undefeated, at least the regular season right here undefeated. So I have them winning this game by a score of 41-16. Then we have another SEC matchup. This time we have Vanderbilt on the road at Tennessee, the 25 ranked team. And I do think Tennessee will win this game right here. I don't think there's too much thought to go into it, but I have them winning it by a score of 42-10. And then we have another Pac 12 matchup. This time it is the Battle of Washington. We have Washington State on the road at Washington. Washington was able to move up to number 4 last week, so they jumped over Florida State. Washington State, on the other hand, they started the season out pretty strong. They were ranked for a while, but they've just kind of had a losing streak. They fell out of contention, and I don't think things get better for them right here. Washington, I think, will win this game rather convincingly, cementing their spot in the college football playoff. So I have Washington winning this game right here by a score of 31-20. Then we have the Battle of Florida. We have number 5 Florida State on the road at Florida. And devastating news for Florida State is quarterback Jordan Travis suffered a leg injury, so his season is done. And that's just devastating for a team that had a really good chance of making the playoffs. So not only did they lose their quarterback, but Washington also was able to leap over them last week. So last week was just a horrible week for Florida State. Even though they won their game, they lost their quarterback and they lost their playoff spot. But a win right here over Florida, coupled by a Washington loss to Washington State, they could easily make it right back in. But without Jordan Travis right here, I have a hard time seeing Florida State make it back to the college football playoffs. And I have this as my last upset pick of the week, as I think Florida will defend the swamp right here. They're going against Florida State's backup quarterback. So I think they win this nail biter of a game right here at home by a score of 26-23, ending Florida State's season and their run for a college football playoff spot. Then we have Notre Dame, number 17, on the road right here at Stanford. And this is one of the no-brainer games right here, as Notre Dame should win this game super easily, and I have them winning it by a score of 56-13. Then we have the Battle of Georgia. We have number 1 ranked Georgia on the road at Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech's another one of those teams that's kind of had an up and down season. They haven't played great in some games. They've almost upset teams. They did upset teams. So what we're going to get out of Georgia Tech this game, I'm not sure about, but they are against the number 1 team in the nation. And Georgia, with a win here, locks down their college football spot. And I have Georgia winning it right here by a score of 54-10. And then closing out the week, we have a Big 12 matchup. We have Iowa State on the road at Kansas State right here. Kansas State was able to beat Kansas last week in a big game. And I was tempted to give Iowa State an upset win right here on the road, but I just don't think that's going to happen, as I have Kansas State winning this game right here by a score of 30-28. So yeah, those are my college football week 13 picks. Please let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I will catch you with another video. God bless.